What's up, friendos, and welcome into Fantasy Pros MLB. Right here for leading off, I am Chris Welsh. That is the Joe Rico, and we are back for another big baseball day. Happy Spencer Strider Day. If you celebrate as you should, our boy Spencer Strider is back in the early onset, actually probably right a couple minutes after we get off here from leading off. We are going to see Spencer Strider's debut against Joe Rico's Toronto Blue Jays. We got a lot to cover, disappointing performances, a lot of injury news out there, and one of the weirdest home runs I think I have seen in quite some time. Joe Rico, how excited or not excited are you for Spencer Strider to slice and dice? Because they did get to the other Spencer yesterday. Will they get to two Spencers?
I can only hope so for my Blue Jays' sake. If this was a evening game, if it was like a 7 Eastern game, I might have gone to this one because Lord knows the Blue Jays aren't selling anything out. I might have been able to get some last-minute tickets, but a little bit of a matinee. We're going to do a lot of shows together today, Welsh, so have that one in the background. And, I was thinking about betting his over strikeouts, but I didn't want to be going too crazy on the first day. I want to see how he balances out, but it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, it didn't work out for the other Spencer yesterday, and debuts are a little bit tough. But we are here live on the Fantasy Pros Twitch, twitch.tv/Fantasy Pros. You guys watch back on the YouTube, you can come over and check us out live every 12 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. And shout out to all the people that are hanging with us here. We are getting in on that follow count. We got Tucko with a subscription using their Prime account. That gets us so closer to the 100 marker for subs this month, which is just it's like a nice fun goal. We love hanging with you guys live. Plus, we'll be answering your questions during the show. So you're welcome in the chat to be dropping questions, and we will be taking that here and there. Let's talk about the hottest player in all of baseball. And funny enough, this player we've been trying to ship somewhere else so we can get the hottest minor leaguer in baseball to be coming up. We have got to talk about Tyler Soderstrom, the former kind of still ish catcher. Tyler Soderstrom, again, with a pair of homers, 6 runs on Tuesday. A's beat up on the White Sox 12-3. A very, very important thing happened in this, though. I don't want to take away from Soderstrom, but as I have been saying kind of ad nauseum and maybe even kind of annoyingly, is for us to get Nick Kurtz, we need someone to go somewhere else. We did see a report yesterday about potentially Tyler Soderstrom going and playing some third, which I think would be great. Good arm, former catcher. But the real unlocking of this has been Brent Rooker playing in the outfield. Well, guess what? Brent Rooker in left field again. That's 2 outfield appearances since, I believe, Saturday or Sunday. That's huge. Nick Kurtz is on the way, but it will not be at the expense of Tyler Soderstrom. Let's talk about the viability, because there is nobody hotter. There's kind of a maybe you'll want to feel like you're going to sell off of Soderstrom, but he leads baseball in homers right now. We can talk about his hitting metrics as well, but what's your take on Tyler Soderstrom right now and what he is for you rest of season?
It feels pretty legit. I mean, I know we did some videos talking about him as a good late first base power option in the offseason. I didn't think it would be this extreme. But if you look at the power numbers from last year, 61 games, he did hit 9 homers. He had a 15% barrel rate, 50% hard hit, and he's carried that over. Like, I don't think he's going to continue at a 19% barrel necessarily, but Tyler Soderstrom looks well on his way to a 30 home run season here. There's people who are talking about like redoing first base rankings. Is he a top 10 guy? Is he a top 7 or 8 guy? He's definitely a top 10 first baseman for me at this point, especially considering that ballpark. The lineup is actually really good. Like Butler,
good.
Rooker, Soderstrom, Langoliers, Blade. You add Kurtz in there. It's a pretty decent lineup, all things considered. I think Soderstrom is going to end up as one of the better deals of draft season.
I don't think that's even a question at this point. I like who just put that? Was it Wonky? The big Kurtz? Or no, this is wild. The big Kurtz instead of the big Hurt. I like that for Nick Kurtz. Looking at Soderstrom, by the way, you mentioned his barrel rate, around 20% this year. He's also getting the ball in the air a ton more. And you talk about being able to take advantage of that minor league ballpark. He had a 9.5 degree launch angle. It's 13.5 this year. That's huge. Launch angle, he's getting that sweet spot right now, 43%. It's short sample size, but it's elite. Hard hit rates are through the freaking roof. On average, EVs 92.5, and a secondary. Like in this, I'd say like the most important thing is like get the ball, pull the ball, get the ball in the air for a guy like him. But the other very exciting piece is strikeouts are down 18%, which is huge. And speaking of, this is taking advantage. I wanted to pull this number up. Last year, he pulled fly balls, or the pulled air percentage was only 12%. This year, 25%. 25% for him. So I ask you this, Tyler Soderstrom or Tristan Casas rest of season?
I take Soderstrom. I think I would take Soderstrom at this point. Like, there's just so many improvements across the board. Everything we've mentioned already. The swing strike rate's down. The O swing percentage is down. He's not chasing as much. He's making more contact in the zone. Everything is positive. So I think I would have to go with him at this point.
I think so too. What about Jake Burger, who I've talked about as kind of a buy low? He's still not picking back. I'm not sure at this point. I mean, there's definitely a from here on out that could change, but I think it's Soderstrom as well. The hitting profile is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's Soderstrom. I mean, the third base, first base eligibility of Berger is nice. The lineup is objectively better in Texas, but I think Soderstrom has to be the choice at this point.
Yeah, I'd be curious too if anybody else has got any other who'd you rather's on Tyler Soderstrom. Let's play it today because it is time to celebrate him. 8 homers, 328 average, 400 OBP, and a 700 slug right now. That definitely is something we want to watch and not get like too overzealous about, but he doesn't have overinflated BABIP. He's got great just barreling and contact numbers, and he's got a ballpark that, we broke down. It's just no matter what it is, if it's the home run factor, the actual ballpark factor, righties and lefties, that ballpark is just good. It's just an absolute good one. Real quick, since these are up here, Soderstrom or Torque? It's Soderstrom.
Soderstrom, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Torque. Torque has been great, but it's Soderstrom.
Well, Torque is also striking out like 30% of the time, so it's
Yeah.
not close. Michael Busch, who we talked about, that's a good one, but it is Soderstrom. I got this exact question yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's relatively close, all things considered, but it's still Soderstrom.
Yandy Diaz or Soderstrom? Soderstrom.
Yeah, probably. I really like Yandy, but it's probably Soderstrom.
It's probably Soderstrom. So there's some good ones. We'll kind of keep rolling and see what we've got. It was not a great day, for betting, but also Spencer Schwellenbach. He was hit hard in Tuesday's loss against the Blue Jays. He gave up 6 runs, 6 hits, 4 2/3 of an inning, a massive blast. I think we had questions yesterday about Anthony Santander. Anthony Santander took him to space. His ball joined all the ladies that went in space with Jeff Bezos' stuff. That ball was destroyed. I was obviously watching that because he was getting a little bit shaky. I will say this, and this is a little me being a little bitchy about stuff in general, but like I am so sick of the umps, especially for somebody that just bets in general. When you have, first fives, whatever the hell it is, all you're looking for is just like, get me out of this. And the amount of bad calls that are out there. Strider had a nice pitch right on the corner. I think it was on Vladdy now that I'm going through it, but it was like right on the corner, should have been a strikeout. It's a walk, and then Santander just blasts it out. So, I mean, that's a little bit making excuses, but it just kind of opened up that whole bag of just how bad the umps have been. But Schwellenbach was bad. He looked kind of gassed at the end. The Blue Jays were making a lot of contact. He wasn't getting any of that swing and miss stuff. Talk to me about Schwellenbach. Is there any worries after that start? Like, as in, was the early onset of starts to you maybe a little bit miragey, or was this one just the outlier?
No, I'm more inclined to say this is the outlier. Just made a few bad pitches, like you said. He got squeezed a little bit. There's nothing I would take from this other than throw an offer to the Schwellenbach owner in your league, just in case there's some early season jitters. This time of year, people panic all over the place. So throw a low ball at the Schwellenbach owner, and maybe he's a little bit nervous. Toronto's not a juggernaut team, so maybe they think, okay, maybe he's getting exposed a little bit or whatever. But I'm not worried. I think he's totally fine.
Yeah, looking here too, Vila was just kind of up in general. Fastball. Yeah, looking in here, this is actually interesting. He really threw I guess I'd have to look at his pitch mix, his season long pitch mix, because I'm looking at the game, but he barely threw his splitter. 7% cutter was down there. I mean, your curveball, a lot of the strikeout pitches, he wasn't throwing a bunch. The slider was his third most used. That was only 38% in the zone, and it got absolutely no whiffs. Kind of tough here when I'm playing host and I want to like do these dig-ins to these players. I'm just going to do this real quick on Schwellenbach. On the season, it'll now be affected by this. Yeah, look at this. Almost 14% splitter on the season, and it was he uses it as the third most used pitch. It was the least used pitch in yesterday's start. And the sinker, the fourth most used pitch, he used the second most yesterday. So what I'm getting at is he didn't have his strikeout stuff. He was throwing that sinker just to try to, get out of innings and pitch to some bad contact. But he down used the slider, the curve, and the split finger. He just didn't have it in the zone. So I tend to think that that's just a little bit of an anomaly. But I'm also a Spencer Schwellenbach homer, and I can't help myself with Spencer Schwellenbach. But
He's
we'll move through it, right?
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay. He's still at 11 whiffs, no real drop in velocity or anything. I think we just chalk it up to a rocky start, and you put him back in your lineup next week, no question about it for me.
Yeah, well, I like the idea of like off of that start, just real quick, going and hitting up an owner that maybe was
Yeah.
like, oh crap, he's a pumpkin, and then trying to get something cheap if you can. A couple bigger performances. Alex Bregman 5-for-5, had a couple solo homers. Red Sox beating on the Rays, just kind of getting back to everything. Also, I think he's out today on paternity leave. They brought up Eric Sogard, and I put this on here, even though the stat isn't crazy. Manny Machado was 1-for-4, had a solo homer. But what I wanted to talk about was that homer, if anyone paid attention. My God, you had 2 dropped fly balls that then turned in. So pop up over into right field. Kyle Tucker comes in, leans down, kind of ducks. Ball drops out of his glove. All right, egg on our face. Let's move on. Next, he pops up to the catcher, and third baseman comes in, drops I think it was third, or maybe it was short, drops the ball at home plate. And then what happens right after that? Gone. Manny Machado absolutely rips it. Yeah, unicorn homer. It was incredible. It's one of those that you were like, this is going to happen right now. But also, I just want to point out, like, Manny Machado is just having like a hell of a season. Averages up, homers are there. He's stealing bases, just having like an absolutely hell of a season right now, Rico.
Yeah, I honestly didn't see the play in question last night, but that's just such a classic baseball type of thing to happen. It just screams baseball at you. But Manny was somebody that I was kind of interested in coming into the year. I didn't really expect the walk rate to jump back up the way it has so far. The WRC plus is at 154. It would be the best mark of his career if he's able to keep it up. Hard hit rate at 55%. Like he's been objectively really, really good. And of those third basemen that were in that like second, third round grouping, Austin Riley's kind of picked it up recently, but I think Machado might have been the best answer out of that group.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of I think it's in his state of his career where I'm looking at Manny Machado and I'm just thinking like, the Hall of Fame and just where he's going and what we're watching. Sometimes I like to kind of reminisce and take a step back on players and be like, who are the great players that we're looking at? Like I think the parameters for being a Hall of Famer feels like it should be and maybe is tougher statistically anymore. And you just kind of see that from him. But just a ridiculously crazy. It's one of those things where there's so many elements of baseball that we're going to miss, that even when you look at like stat sheets, if you're not watching, from one of the worst strike calls of all our ball calls of all time yesterday, why the umps are so bad. I think someone put it in the chat. It was a JT Realmuto. It was literally completely in the zone and it didn't get called a strikeout, and then everything turned bad, to unicorn homers of foul balls. Speaking of over on that Phillies game, Jesus Luzardo 5 1/3, did give up 3 runs. It was a no decision. Most interesting in this though, and I think we know the reason behind it, but Jose Alvarado, he pitched in like a 3-run lead situation in the 8th. And I guess they considered it like super high leverage and they were concerned. And that led to Matt Strahm coming in the 9th and cleaning up, having an absolute cleanup of an inning and picking up the save. But also, is Matt Strahm maybe the guy that they're going to go to before? Or is this just one of those, there's plenty of teams that run out like 3 or 4 guys. The Dodgers do that. Like they'll throw out like Vesia or something. Is there anything with Matt Strahm for you? Alvarado's got the gig. They put him in high leverage here, but do you think he's a next up type of player that you want to look at?
They're kind of a hard team to figure out with bullpen usage because Ryan Kerkering, if I was managing, would probably be the guy getting a lot of the save opportunities. But Alvarado, they brought him in to face Ramos, Willie Adames, Jung-Hoo Lee. I think they're going to let him, for the most part, continue with the 9th. But if there is a situation where you're getting the toughest part of the order to up in the 8th, maybe they go with him. But if there's one arm to own in Philadelphia, I'd say it is probably still Alvarado.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that's a question. I think Alvarado is still he got squeezed a little bit and, he gave up. By the way, I had live bet just to clean up my day because it was a bad betting day for me, just an idiot. But I live bet to save my day, and I had live bet the inning prior Philly to 1.5, and then they got that lead, and then Alvarado started giving it up right after, and I was like, let's close this thing down, Jose. Good Lord. A couple pitching performances. Max Fried, really strong in Tuesday's win over the Royals. He struck out 7, 6 2/3, 2-run ball has been great. And Bailey Ober with a bounce back. He pitched well, 3 runs, 5 hits over 6 1/3. Are you kind of I know you were a big Ober guy. Are you, with this bounce back, is he kind of a buy for you right now? I think the ERA is still pretty inflated. Hasn't been good to start, but this was.
Yeah, he's been a little bit shaky. I kind of bounced back and forth on him. Like I was really into him, and then I did that show with Eno and Nick, and then Eno kind of poo-pooed him a little bit, and I took my foot off the gas, but I think he's still going to be fine. The overall numbers are still going to be inflated like they were last year for a while because of that first start, but I think we're going to look at it probably somewhere in mid-June or July and say if you took out that first start, the ERA would be X. With the bad start, it's still pretty bad. But like even after that huge blow up he had at the beginning of last year, he still finished with a sub 4 ERA. The WHIP was at 1 on the dot. So I'm not really worried. I think he still falls into that buy low territory for those who are playing with people who maybe don't pay quite as much attention. They're just going to look at the surface and look at that ERA and say, I need to get this guy the hell off my team. If you're in a league like that where the Ober manager is still panicking, then I wouldn't hesitate to try and acquire him.
Let's go to the audience. Let's see some questions of what we got going down here. Anthony, is Luis Robert and Riley Green, are they buy lows? Statcast pages look horrible. Luis Robert, everything doesn't look great, but he's stealing a bunch of bases. Riley Green always has really great hard hit numbers, but I don't know, man. I'm actually a little like on Riley Green right now. So I think if I remember correctly, like the BABIP isn't telling us any good story where things are going to bounce back. The K's are still there. I'm a little indifferent about Riley Green. I kind of think Luis Robert is at like an all-time low, so I'm into that. Are you into buying either one of these guys?
I like buying Lubob. Even with the kind of slow start, we talked about this yesterday. Double-digit barrel rate. He's still stealing bases. I think he's going to get traded. Overall, not really worried there. With Riley Green, it's a little bit different. Like you need him to really smash in the power and counting stats departments because he's not going to give you stolen bases. He might give you a pretty good batting average, but you need kind of 30 plus home runs from him, which he's definitely capable of. But that lineup in Detroit is terrible. It is an awful lineup. Gleyber Torres leading off. I really like Kerry Carpenter. I do like Green and Spencer Torkelson, but Colt Keith, Dylan Dingler, Zach McKinstry, Baez, Sweeney. It's a tough group there for counting on him in terms of the runs and RBI. So I'd prefer to buy Lou Bob. I think the price would probably be a little bit lower. People just seem to be kind of out on him in general. Between the two of them, I would go with Lou Bob. I don't think that Green is a bad buy. I don't have him as high of a priority as Lou Bob.
Who do you like better rest of season from Lee? Jonathan India or Brooks Lee? Brooks Lee, I think, hit his first homer yesterday.
It's Jonathan India for me.
Yeah.
That second base only that you're seeing on there as well. Like we talked about that yesterday as well. That's going to change. He's already picking up a ton of appearances in third and then left. He's going to be triple eligible pretty soon if he's not already on your given site.
Yeah, I'm with that. All right, we have a whole bunch of Kurtz's, by the way. So let's do this real quick. Thrasher said Kurtz only 6% owned on ESPN, but 100% on his two teams. I like that. Wow. But also ESPN, LOL. All right, so we're going to plow through these. Manzardo or Kurtz?
Manzardo, I think.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, this is a Kurtz one, and we got the Soderstrom ones in here. I would go with Kurtz as well. All right, so now here's our Soderstrom ones. These are all putting us to test here. Game, Soderstrom or Vientos?
Oh man, no, I'm gonna say probably Vientos still. I know that's probably a minority take at this point, but give me that guy in that lineup who can still drive in 100 plus. I'm filling in for Joey P in more ways than one today.
Yeah, you 100% are. About to say if Pizza Pia was here, we know exactly what this would be. I'm gonna be recency. I'm gonna say Soderstrom on that one. I'm not a big Vientos guy right now. Goldie or Soderstrom?
Man, these Soderstrom questions, the more that we get, the more I realize how much I like him. I think it's probably Soderstrom. Goldschmidt has been pretty decent to start the year. I mean, he's batting 350, but I think it's Soderstrom.
I think it's Soderstrom as well. All right, this one. I'm not going to go to Soderstrom on this one, and it's not a homer take, but you tell me. Josh Naylor or Soderstrom?
No, it's Naylor. We need to draw the line somewhere.
Okay, we drew the line. So there you go. We're definitely like in on what Soderstrom is doing for the most part. Me a tiny bit more, but not over a guy like Josh Naylor. So that's where the lines are. Little rookie lookie here. Logan Henderson is getting the call by the Brewers. We've been talking about this for a little bit, just waiting to get him up. A couple people had asked some questions. I think it was, yeah, right here. Trill, what's your take on Logan Henderson getting the call? Need one more pitching streamer this week. Is he worth an add head-to-head points 12 team? I kind of think he is. He definitely builds off of a lot of command. I think he's going to get some early swing and misses. The problem is like, he's going to pitch around in the zone a decent amount. So, pinning that matchup, there could be a little bit of home runs going, but I think he can go deeper into game. In a points league, I'm even a little bit more likely to do it because I don't think he's going to get absolutely blown up. And I'm not chasing like a quality start or anything like that. I'm just, I'm just chasing the stats every single inning. So I think I would. What about you and Logan Henderson?
Again, I'm not like a huge minor league guy, but like you mentioned, the home runs have kind of been pretty prevalent for him, especially last season across the minors, 1.4 homer per nine. But I think that he's pretty solid. I'm always a little bit nervous about starting a guy in their first career outing. I would prefer to go a different route depending on what's on the wire, but it's not a horrible idea. I just tend to generally just fade guys making their debut.
This isn't the question this person is doing, but Tildo says Kumar was just dropped in a 12-team dynasty points league. Should I chase upside and speculatively add? I'd say, yeah, in a dynasty, depending what the drop is, yeah, maybe. But who would you rather for this season, a redraft right now, Kumar or Logan Henderson?
I'd probably take the chance on Henderson. Rocker just hasn't really looked good. That start against Seattle was kind of the nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah, and I will say I don't think Logan Henderson is solidified anything. He's probably going to go back down to the minors because you've got Myers who's about to come back and Woodruff, but Kumar's not really doing anything for anybody. A little bit more in the rookie lookie. We had this hopeful, optimistic, speculative sense with Zebby Matthews. It was, David Festa is going to come up, but guess what? On Monday, there's an open spot. Nope. David Festa's pitching today. Zebby is still down in the minors, but in his last start, had 7 strikeouts, 1 run, 5 innings in a AAA start. And his fastball, he kind of tapered it down to start, and then he was pumping like 98, I think close to 99. Zebby looks really good. If he gets an opportunity, I mean, if Festa gets blown up at all today, I think we could see Zebby soon. Jordan Walker, 1 for 4, solo home run in AAA over with Reno on Tuesday. He's now hitting 292 with a 395 OBP and a 523 slug, so almost a 3.45. 16 games so far this season, 3 homers, 12 RBI, 4 steals. I think the speculation is, hey, Ketel could miss time. I am told that Ketel will be back for the next home series. That is next week. Ketel, I was at the Diamondbacks facility yesterday. He was working out. He was on the side field working, doing his stuff. Didn't stay for any games. Could be in a game this weekend, and then is going to stay here and then Tuesday. So look for Ketel Marte to be coming up Tuesday. But I don't think he is going to be the reason that Jordan Walker is going to come up. Jordan Walker's playing second base right now. I wonder if they keep moving him around, but he is hot, hot, hot right now. And if he does come up, he's someone we're going to want to look at. And then finally on the rookie lookies, Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw has been demoted. We salute you. Jordan Lawler, I said Jordan Walker. We salute you and say goodbye. Is there any worth for you to hold on to Matt Shaw while he tries to figure this out?
Not in redraft leagues, no. Like, he's a solid hold in dynasty, of course, but redraft, you move on.
Well, and that is the reason that is going to take us to this week's Microsoft Challenge. Chasing challenges brought to you by Microsoft. Just like the athletes who push boundaries and redefine what's possible, business decision makers today are turning challenges into opportunities. Microsoft meets you where you are with tools and guidance to help you make an impact with safe, secure AI solutions. Whatever challenge you're facing, Microsoft empowers you with the expertise to say, bring it on. And in this segment, we spotlight the challenge faced by Matt Shaw, because Matt Shaw was overmatched, unfortunately, in his debut. Even though we saw him hit high in the lineup in the Japan series, he went all the way down to 9, could not find consistent contact on a team that desperately needs to win. But this story has been told over years and years. We see it all the time. A top prospect comes up, He doesn't do great in his debut. He's sent down, and then people say he's done, he's cooked, but he's not, and they are not. We saw Mike Trout go through this. We've seen countless prospects just take time. Hunter Green had gone through this, whether it's pitching or hitting. So, do we want to hold on to Matt Shaw fantasy right now? No, I think he is expendable, but we need to keep a close eye on, because just because he was sent to the minors doesn't mean that his fantasy season is going to be completely done. Let's see if he can check a few boxes in the minors, and maybe he'll be back up in May, because they're probably still going to need him unless they make some big moves. That, my friends, is this week's Chasing Challenges. Remember, Microsoft's AI solutions empower you to take bold steps and new ideas to help drive your business forward. With Microsoft as your trusted partner, you can navigate your journey with confidence, finding innovative solutions and reaching new possibilities. Visit Microsoft.com/challengers to learn more. There we go. That's always a Joey thing. So we're able to get through that with a little bit of challenges. That was fun. All right. Let's go do some 3 up and 3 down. 3 up. Dylan Moore, 3 for 5, 2 homers against the Reds, stepping in for Victor Robles a bunch. Alan Roden hit his first career homer off of Spencer Schwellenbach, and Tyler Mahle, 6 shutout innings versus the Angels, picked up 9 strikeouts in the win. It is just LOL-y, man, to me, because they had originally put Patrick Corbin in as the starter for that, and I was betting against it. And then Mahle comes in, and they shut that thing down, dude. Tyler Mahle looked really good against that Angels team.
Yeah, on short notice. I mean, the different sites, there were some of them that had Corbin going. There were some of them that had Mahle going. It looks like he kind of had to fill in. For some reason, they did a swap, but Tyler
Yeah,
Mahle.
Corbin's today.
Yeah, Tyler Mahle through 19 innings has a sub-1 ERA and a .86 WHIP. Is that going to continue? No, I would say that probably not going to get a hell of a lot for him, but package him up and see what you can get for him after a day like today. For me personally, I just don't buy it in the long run.
If Logan Henderson was out there and you had to drop Tyler Mahle, would you do it?
I'd probably take a chance on Henderson. Yeah, with a guy like Mahle, who's been around for so long, we know who he is, right? Unless he's making drastic changes this year, which I'm not really seeing. He's still walking a lot of batters. He has a really low BABIP, high strand rate. I think it's just been a lucky couple starts for him. I would kind of try and take advantage of that in the trade market if you can. You're not going to get a king's ransom for him, but as a package with another guy, could do something.
I wouldn't do that. I would not drop Mahle to pick up Logan Henderson. And I guess I always kind of come back to the same thing, and prove me wrong, show me, and I'll jump on it. But there's so many guys that we sit on these shows and just are like, we should trade this guy, and we should trade this guy. And it's like, who in God's name is buying Tyler Mahle that is worth moving off of him? Like, what if Tyler Mahle becomes a 9K per 9 guy on a Rangers team that picks up their offense and there's tons of win support? It's not a great ballpark, but what if he's an under 4 ERA pitcher for the rest of the year, picks up 11 wins? It's like, was it worth trading him when no one believes? So that's like Kyron Paris to him. I struggle with guys like this, but the context of what you're saying, I totally understand. You're like, hey, this is not going to last. I don't really buy into it. Move off of him. I don't know what that looks like outside of maybe like a 2-person trade, like you were saying.
Yeah, like Kyron Paris and Tyler Mahle for, I don't know, pick any top 100 player who's been struggling so far, and maybe it gets it done. Probably not, but I see crazy stuff come across the inbox every day. You never know. No harm in trying, right?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right about that. There's no harm in trying. And, you look at the YouTube comments, you're going to see people that are able to pull some crazy trades together. So maybe you can put them out there and see who's overreacting. On the down, are we overreacting? I don't know, but Joe and I just did the trade video about a day and a half or a day ago, and one of the highlighted players we were trying to get out from was Luis Castillo, and Luis Castillo was tagged for 6 runs in 4 1/3 innings by the Reds on Tuesday. We also saw Sean Burke give up 5 against the A's, not so great. And then making his season debut after returning from the IL, Alexis Diaz with the Reds was pulled mid-inning after walking 2 of 4 batters that he faced in the game against the Mariners there. So not a great return, especially with Francona kind of like, jumping around to closers and potentially, Emilio Pagan. I'm not sure that really bodes super well, but you want to add anything on the Luis Castillo thing? Because you and I were, and you can go to Diaz as well, but you and I were really hyper-focused on Castillo as kind of a trade, and things were not great yesterday.
Yeah, I'm totally into trading Castillo. It might be a little bit harder after today. When we were talking yesterday, his ERA for the season was like 2.1, and now it's at 4.22. So that window might have been very short for you. Maybe you can still do something to move off of him, but go check out the trade video on the channel from yesterday. kind of laid it all out. The stuff and fastball velocity declining in each of the last 4 seasons as he enters into his mid-30s. Just kind of a bad recipe. And also with Seattle, you trust them for the home starts, but then you see what happens when they're away from Seattle. It's a big risk, not just for Castillo, but all of their pitchers have kind of extreme home and away splits. But for a guy like Castillo, when there's the other concerns, that's not good. But for the Reds, Alexis Diaz is probably a drop, I think. Like Terry Francona wasn't the one who christened him the closer. He wasn't his closer for these past several years. He seems to like Pagan. Pagan has been getting the saves consistently. We see Diaz continue to struggle, dealing with an early season injury. Maybe he gets back into that role at some point, but I think Diaz is the 3rd or 4th best reliever on this team. Tony Santillan is probably better at this point. Pagan has been doing well. Holding Diaz is going to be tricky, I think.
I can't do it. I can't cut Diaz off of his return from the IL in one bad outing because he has been the closer. I think that's way too preemptive. I think you need to wait and see what does the next outing look like. I don't think it'll be a save situation. I think you need a tiny bit of time before you go and make a drastic move off of him. But I understand Francona, he might be done. We just don't have any big actual word on that. I'd also say when you were talking about, the comment section, going in and talking about Luis Castillo or Alexis Diaz or whatever it is that we've been talking about on the YouTube side, an opportunity to win Nico Horner jersey that we've got. We're always giving away great things. I know our boy Callie, we got it right there. There you go. You can win this Nico Horner signed jersey. All you've got to do is subscribe to the Fantasy Pros MLB YouTube channel. Guys are watching live on Twitch now. Go over there at youtube.com/FantasyPros MLB, hit subscribe, and then comment on a video. So you can go to our trade video and talk about players that you are looking to trade away, trade for. Comment on any video, and that gets you locked in. You could win this Nico Horner signed jersey, courtesy of us. I think pristine auction as well. And Nico Horner putting them Cubs up. I know Callie probably hurts for that when Nico Horner got that run. I think it was in the 10th or 9th or whatever it was, but Nico Horner getting some of it done. Let's hit a few questions in here. You guys have been stacking that up. Let's go right here. Thoughts on Jonathan Aranda? Jonathan Aranda has been hitting 4 for the Reds. Are you a buy on Aranda right now?
Yeah, I'm kind of a buy on him. The only problem is that there's been so many breakouts that are all first basemen this year. Soderstrom, Torkelson, Ben Rice. It's hard to pick them all. Yeah, first base / DH. Manzardo's kind of cooled off, but there's been so many first base pickups that it does get a little bit hard to pick up all of them and start all of them. A lot of leagues don't even have those corner infield spots, so it's just like a guy sent me a question yesterday. He has Schwarber, Harper, and Soderstrom, and just the first base and DH spot. So he's sitting one of them every single day. In the shallow leagues, it does get very hard, but Aranda, I think, is first in Major League Baseball in WRC plus, 3 homers. He's batting .413, 21 on the barrel, 62 hard hit. The numbers are stupid. They're unsustainable to this degree, but last year, nearly a 17% barrel rate, 47 on the hard hit. The ballpark is great. I love him. It's hard to figure out the priority for these first basemen, but would you take him over Soderstrom?
Absolutely not. I don't like Aranda as much as you. Good contact skills, and he's being put in. Sometimes you just get these dudes that just make the contact, and you put them at 4, and then all of a sudden, they're just good things are going to happen. I'm just not sure he's ever going to be a massive counting stat guy. I am a firm Soderstrom over Aranda, but maybe he might have a really great shot at staying in that spot all season, though.
I think I'm still Soderstrom over Aranda. I just wanted to figure out where you were on that one.
Sure. Lisa, will Dylan Cruz get sent down? You think they're going to send Cruz down?
It's definitely possible. He's not really looked that great. He's stealing bases. He has 4 stolen bases so far, but he's batting $120, 35% strikeout rate. His WRC plus is -13. It's just really bad. He might end up going down at some point. I wouldn't drop him just yet, but there's a chance.
There was one more I wanted to hit in this little section. I just went away from it. Thoughts on Cameron Meisner? So we're going to be doing the waiver wire video that's going to be coming out tomorrow, and I'm going to just preview to tell you that we're going to talk about Cameron Meisner. I'm very much in on Meisner, and the Rays have got a bunch of they're just sneaky guys, and which of those guys are going to stick around? You like Aranda? You got Mangum that's up there stealing bases. I'm very much into Cameron Meisner right now. 10% barrel rate, 51% hard hit. He's not striking out, consistently hitting the ball. Frankly, you know what the profile kind of looks like? Kind of looks like a Soderstrom right now. I mean, low strikeout rate, walking some crazy good hit tool. He's striking the ball really hard. He's hitting almost 400 with 3 homers. I think Meisner's being put in some good RBI opportunities. I think Meisner is a definite pickup right now. What say you?
Yeah, I think the cheap comp, but the one that actually does make sense kind of is Josh Lowe. Decent power, really good speed. He
Yeah.
barrels the ball up, he strikes out. He is the replacement essentially, so it's a little bit of an obvious one, but he's put up some really good minor league seasons. In 2024, it was 17 homers and 30 steals. 2023, it was 21 homers, 21 steals. The strikeouts are usually a bit of a concern. Wouldn't expect a 16% strikeout rate to last like at all. He's probably going to be above 30%, but while he's doing what he's doing, he's definitely worth picking up, and the upshot is a 15-15 season from him potentially, if not even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, I really like Meisner right now. I'm picking him up for sure. Let's talk about some injuries. There were a bunch of things. Let's burn through these. Carlos Correa had to leave Tuesday after injuring his wrist on a swing. Considered day to day. He's out of the lineup today, as is Matt Wallner. So they're a little bit light with David Festa. Orioles hopeful that Eflin is out weeks instead of months. We also had Grayson Rodriguez with no timetable, still a lot ahead, which is a really bad sign for him coming back anytime soon. And Kyle Bradish is moving along really well in his rehab from Tommy John, hoping to return later in the summer. So they've got an arsenal of pitchers they need to come back. They have almost nobody right now. Go make a trade, please.
Yes.
Wyatt Langford could be activated as soon as this weekend, recovering from that oblique injury. Absolutely huge for all of us in fantasy and just a good boost to that Rangers team. I'd love to have a really good contact hitter at the middle of the lineup after Corey Seager, because then you've got, Jock, who's struggling, one of the lowest BABIPs in baseball behind Josh Young, Berger. All these guys are it's a struggle sandwich. There's Corey Seager in the middle of like Simeon, who's at the front. He's one bun. He's struggling. And then all these other big power hitters. So we need Langford to come back big time. I don't know if there's anything to say in here, but like, I want the Rangers to kick back. I thought these guys were going to be crazy. And it's just everybody is struggling outside of like Josh Young and Seager right now.
Yeah, I called them the best offense in the American League before the season. It doesn't feel very smart at this point. I think we're going to get there eventually, and getting Langford back should do wonders for them. He looked very good before he went down. Now, I worry a little bit with the oblique because wasn't there something in spring as well? Like I hope this doesn't become a recurring thing for him, but it's good that he should be back this weekend.
Oh, obliques in general are scary. Jackson Merrill's slowly ramping up. He did some BP and bunting drills. He's still not running. He's not going to come off the IL when he is first eligible. So mark your fantasy calendars for that. Zach Neto could be activated. I think it's saying as soon as tomorrow. I saw something saying this weekend, but like he's been at AAA. I think he had another homer. He's got 4 homers in 12 rehab games with AAA Salt Lake. Doesn't need to be there anymore. It's any day. And friend of the show, DJ Hers, is undergoing Tommy John surgery. I think that is out. Really, friends of the show are not want to be friends of the show right now.
We got to stay away from us.
Yeah, exactly. All right. It doesn't deserve the song because it was a bad betting day. So we're not going to joyfully sing, it's the best bets of the... No, it's the best bets of the day. Let's get serious. We're talking bets here. Joe Rico, it's an interesting slate today. There's a bunch of early games. I kind of moved away from the early games. You're back on the heavy player props. So what do you got today?
Yeah, I'm targeting some total base overs. There's one safer bet we're going to get to in a little bit, but the total bases, I'm going with Lawrence Butler over 1.5 at plus 130. I don't really understand it going up against Jonathan Cannon and the White Sox. This feels like a pretty easy opportunity to make some money. And then Jose Ramirez plus 120 over 1.5 total bases going up against Dean Kramer. It just feels like these lines are a little odd. I would have thought maybe you'd see 0.5 bases at a bit of a juiced line for both of these guys, but I'll take the 1.5 at plus 120. And then this one is minus 175. So in terms of the value, it's not great, but it just feels like a really weird number. Max Meyer over 3.5 strikeouts. He's facing the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are striking out less than any team in baseball at the moment. That being said, 3.5 still feels really easy for a guy like Max Meyer, who's a 25%, roughly 25% strikeout rate guy to achieve. He's been doing well so far this season. If you think it's a little bit too juiced, you can maybe pair one of those together and get that number down. You probably get plus 300 or so if you throw those in a parlay. But Lawrence Butler, Jose Ramirez over on the bases, and then Max Meyer over on 3.5 strikeouts.
I think you're mentioning the Angels. One of those. I'm tailing some first fives today. Just in all transparency, bad day for me yesterday. Not even like like I'll say many times, sometimes the process is really great and then blah. No, wasn't good yesterday. It kind of a blow up there. My live betting did save me. So again, that's kind of the plug to betting pros on the app. That picked me up pretty big later in the day. So I'm going with a couple first fives right now. I don't really love any of the player props as far as the pitching market goes. I don't play a whole lot of total base stuff in general, but I'm going to be tailing Bryce Miller on the first five money line minus 110. So we're looking for obviously the win, but a push can save us. And backing Jose Soriano through the first five, minus 140. That one's juiced up a little bit, but he has just been a monster. So first fives in Seattle and the Angels for me for those best bets of the day where we can earn back the song that probably no one really even wants us to do. Let's take a look at the home run board. There were no homers yesterday, I think, for absolutely anybody. Maybe a couple, but I don't see much movement. I think me and Wonky were 7 and 8 yesterday. We're both sitting at 8. We've got Ferret and Marty both at 11 at the top. We got a couple 10s in there. Razor Ramon. We got the people. It is still very, very obtainable. If you guys get an Amazon Prime Twitch connection, if you connect those two bad boys, you can get in on the home run contest, or you can be a part of the premium Discord. You can do that as well. And you can win that Sammy Sosa jersey, autographed Sammy Sosa jersey to the winner of the home run contest. So not a lot of movement. So that means there are some people to catch. Joe, who and how are you catching? Who's your home run call for today?
Well, we wanted to target him yesterday. We're going to target him today because of that switch in the pitching match. It was Patrick Corbin going up against the Angels. I'm taking Jorge Soler to hit a home run, plus 270 on the various books if you're looking to bet that one. It's Patrick Corbin. Whether you're betting the home runs individually, the over earned runs, the over hits, the Angels team total, Angels money line, bet against Patrick Corbin. Make yourself some free money today.
What did I call it? You're picking on me. What did I say? It's a subscription. What did I say? Did I say something wrong?
I don't
Let
know.
me know what I said, Callie.
Is that
So
Mayor messing with you? Oh, it's not.
I don't
Mayor.
know. I don't know what I said. I said something stupid. Shock, Welshism. So yesterday, dummy me, I saw that Patrick Corbin was on the slate. I bet against it. I went with Mike Trout, and then apparently I looked in the wrong place. I got screwed, or just screwed myself, and it went against me. Tyler Mahle was amazing. But I see Patrick Corbin is back. So I am going right back to Mike Trout. That was my whole dig, was Mike Trout versus Patrick Corbin. So I am back on Mike Trout today, going up Patrick Corbin. Bang. We're not going to go over runs, but you and I both attacking him. So he is assuredly going to go 6 and strike out 9, and he'll be a Tyler Mahle again. But you guys can be a part of it. Join in on the Discord, and you can get on the home run contest. And guess what? More opportunities to talk to us today. Tons of questions, tons in the chat. And I know we didn't get to a lot of it. Well, guess what? You want to get to more of it. You guys can come over to the Discord, 2 p.m. Eastern today. Arico and I, we're doing a live show on Discord. We're doing cleaning up. I don't remember, there's so many shows in there where we're going to be bringing you guys on to answer questions. And then at 4 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, we'll be back again answering questions for a full hour. So if it's missed here, come on over and hang out live with us. And you can always hang out live Monday through Friday on Twitch at twitch.tv/FantasyPros. That is going to do it, my friends. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. For Joe Rico, I'm Chris Welsh. We will talk to you next time right here on Leading Off. Bye, friends. So many shows, so much Joe Rico today.
It's a little bit too much, even for my own liking. If you guys want to get your questions answered, hop over to Discord.
Don't do it. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Discord and then YouTube. Lots of stuff.